thank you for coming out to Real Estate Meetup Mondays. Today we have our lovely host with us, Miss Angela Yee.
Hi.
And we are talking about women empowerment, and she is a woman and she is a woman.
That's right, and I just want to make sure that we encourage women to go out there because we are actually opening more businesses than anybody. We are the next wave of entrepreneurs. So we're trying to give you the information that you need so that you can make it happen.
Nice. So, as always, Real Estate Meetup Monday, 7:30 at La Rouge Restaurant and Lounge, 972 Broad Street. Can't wait to see you there.
Come on. But I do have someone that would like to introduce the woman of the hour that will be serenading us.
Good evening, all you beautiful people. How you doing? Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers in the building. It's a beautiful event, Women Empowerment. We offer that over here at Capital Gains Inc. That's my company. This is my daughter, Leah Janae, 17 years old, born and raised in North New Jersey. 3-time Apollo winner. She was on The Voice season 10. You know what I mean? She loves to sing. She loves her city and especially the women of her city. So I just appreciate Benedict Blake for reaching out to us to have her come sing for y'all this evening. So, with no further ado, we'll do what you do. It's Leah Janae. Thank you.
He always gives the best introductions. I don't even have to talk. It's like, what do to say? But yes, again, my name is Leah Janae. I'm going to be actually singing the song that I won the Apollo with, called Rise Up. It's by Andre Day. I'm going to be doing it with the band, so just give them a second to get ready. Broken down and tired, living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter. Well, I see it in you, so we go walk it out and move mountains. We go walk it out and move. And shall get, and them that's got shall lose. And for the Bible said no, and it still is news. Whoa, yeah. So mama may have, and papa may have, but God bless the child that's got its own, that's got his own. Said, oh, thank you.
So, wow. So I'm glad, I didn't put too much mascara at the bottom because I'm going to teardrop. So with that being said, I would like to welcome Benedict Guerriers and the host of this evening, Angela Lee.
What's a king to a guy? What's a guy to a non-believer who don't believe it?
Real Estate Monday, what's up? Oh, I know we're gonna do better than that. Real Estate Monday, what's up? First of all, I want to pay homage to my wife, the mother of my beautiful children. I want to pay homage to all of the women in the building. Happy Mother's Day to those that are mothers. Even if you don't have children, you are mothers in some type of way. Even though the man may be the head of the family, the woman is definitely the neck where she turns, you turn. So I chose today, this real estate meetup, to kind of go all out. And Miss Angela Yee, I definitely thank you for the opportunity of gracing us with your presence. So with that being said, I've been nervous all week, guys. I said, what am I going to tell these beautiful people today? But this room right here lets me know that we want that knowledge. You know, the diversity in the room, the religions, races, colors, creeds, gender. You know, Noor gets a lot of bad publicity, but this room is a perfect example of, that's just skepticism. They only talk about the negative things in here. In a short year, we've raised over $1 million in this room. $1 million in this room. That's with regular people, those that have 1,000, 5,000, 20,000, 50,000, meaning we don't need special interests, we don't need government, we don't need it, but we want them. When you need somebody or something, you don't know if that love is real. Like, nobody has to come here, so I'm honored when you come here. I don't charge to come here because I'm moved by seeing my family grow. Now, when I say that, I really feel like my family's extended. And to me, that's what building a better planet is. Yes, buying houses, I own this restaurant, making money definitely moves me, but it's nothing like when I see the faces in this room, when I could walk down the street to say, you know what, I can count on every single person. God forbid if I can't close a couple of deals, I can count on some family members. And that's really what I want everybody to take away from this room, is the ability to count on each other. That's all it is. You don't even have to be the smartest person in the room. It's, hey, can you help me out? I need a wholesale deal. Well, my credit is bad. She fixes credit. Well, I don't know what's going on in this community. Well, he's friends with the mayor. We've had every single type of person in this meetup because, to me, real estate, the meek shall inherit the land. Regardless if you're religious or not, it's our time. When I say our time, meaning it's been too many instances where the common folk always get the short end of the stick and we work the hardest. It's our time. So with that being said, Miss Angela Yee.
Yep. Y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Making sure. Okay, so I do want to say thank you guys so much for having me here. The first time I was here was, how long ago was that? Yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago, and it was really a great experience for me. My parents live in South Orange, so I did spend a lot of time in Newark growing up. Obviously, we're all neighbors. But there's a lot of great things happening in Newark, and everybody's talking about investing in Newark. But what's most important is that you guys, as residents, make sure that you're aware of the opportunities that are available to you. And make sure that you demand that. I know people are talking about elections just passed. And I think it's really important that we get out and vote, but that we also hold those people responsible for the things that they promise us when they're out campaigning. So just make sure you guys get your just due. I live in Brooklyn now, I'm from Brooklyn, and I bought a house in Brooklyn, and I'm really glad that I did that, but it's been tough for people that are long-term residents, and it's happening in Newark too. People are getting pushed out, people are seeing opportunities, people from the outside are coming in and investing, and now where are we supposed to live? The rents are getting a lot higher. And if you are not an owner, a property owner, then what happens? You know, so these are all things that we have to take into account, but we also have to change our mindset. I know a lot of times we feel like, well, we're just not good at investing. I don't have any extra money for this. And it's so important for us to pool our resources and come together. A lot of times we can actually come up, like I opened my juice bar in Brooklyn. I didn't do that by myself. And this is something that I've learned, and I was just telling Paris, who works with me on the way here, what I like to do is I like to team up with people who have experience with something, so that way I have a greater chance of succeeding at it. So what I did was I wanted to do a juice bar in Brooklyn. I saw a need for it in my neighborhood. We're already talking about Newark. But I saw the need for that, and I went to Styles P. He has 3 juice bars already in Yonkers and in the Bronx. And I saw what a great thing it was for the community. I saw how much he cared about people. It's not just a business, because those businesses, traditionally, like, if you don't care about the community that you're in, you know, how successful can you be? So he really cared about the community. I went to the juice bar. I spent some time there. I just saw how the employees were. I saw their interactions with the customers. I saw the change it was making in the community. And I said, I really want to do this in Brooklyn. So instead of me saying, you know what, let me do it myself, I went to him and I said, can we do this in Brooklyn? You have had experience. All the mistakes that he made before I came on board were made already, so it saved me a lot of money. He already knew where to order everything from. He already knew how to train the staff. He already knew all the pitfalls that could potentially happen. So it was really beneficial for me. And so that's been kind of what I've been doing as far as business, is figuring out what is there a need for and who can I team up with. And I know a lot of us hang out with each other. We go to dinners, we go party, we do different things, but it's really important for us when we get together to talk about economic empowerment and what can we be doing for our futures, because that's a really fun discussion to have, especially when those things come to fruition.
Absolutely, and that's the beautiful thing about this room is you have experts in different fields. So just like you have Styles P to be able to count on as far as the juice bar, in this room, how many realtors we have in this room? How many wholesalers we have in this room? How many investors do we have in this room? How many credit repair specialists do we have in this room? How many people can become expediters and get to the politicians in this room? Private lenders. So every hurdle that you could, how many insurance brokers do we have in this room? My insurance broker looked at me. I know you're not going to leave me out. I've been here. So meaning, whatever excuse that you could potentially have of why you don't want to get to your goal, I create that for us. And it's up to you to say, okay, well, Benedict and the Alpha team, right now we have over 15,000 leads. And with Ms. Yee giving us such a beautiful shout out, I know those numbers are going to increase. So it doesn't matter which particular industry that you're in, you just have to be great at that industry. A lot of times we are unsuccessful because, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. That's not your lane. That's not the purpose that God created you for. Sometimes you're so busy looking at what somebody else is doing that you're blocking your own light. And so what I've created is an opportunity for us to say, no matter what lane you're in, I will be able to send a streamline of people. Now, you also have to be ready for that. If I say, you know what? It's a go, and you got 2,000 people calling you, you got to be ready for that. So you got to be ready for the opportunities and seize them. So one question I want to ask you, you being a female, what are some of the hurdles and the challenges that you saw in order for you to be where you are today?
I think even for myself, just coming up in this industry, it is a very male-dominated industry. And I think a lot of times people will come in the room. I started off working for Wu-Tang in management, and they would come in the room and see me and think I'm just like some chick with one of the guys instead of knowing that I work for management. So they'll come in, say what's up to everybody except me. Everybody gets a pound, and I'm sure a lot of women have experienced something like that happening. And then when it's like, okay, well, who do I need to talk to? Oh, you got to talk to her. Hey, what's up? It's me, the person you didn't speak to, or, you know. But I think things like that happen all the time, even just doing radio, with people looking at you as not a main host of a show, but, okay, you could do traffic and weather and chime in here and there. And I think for women, a lot of times that's how we're viewed. We're not viewed as the lead on something. We're viewed as the person underneath the lead. So that's just something that I feel like I've always had to work so much harder. Even now in the morning show, a lot of what you hear, I'm the one that does all the show prep. And I don't have to do that, it just won't get done then. But I do feel like it makes me better because when we're on the air, because I'm so used to doing it, when I'm not there, they have no idea like what's going on. I really read like all the stories, I do all my own research, and that has really made me a better personality, but also just more educated on everything that's going on around me.
Oh, I know that. When I was trying to do my research, I was like, can somebody, Keisha, can you send me some information? So definitely, that's extremely important. And the ladies, I want you to know there is a lot of opportunities and programs that's out there. Like, all ladies, minority ladies, should definitely get their MBE status, that Minority Business Enterprise
I'm in the process
status.
of getting mine right now.
Look at that. I can help.
And, okay, yeah, no, and I just want to say, as far as women, you know, right now, black women are the ones that are really opening up the businesses, and as far as entrepreneurs, 80% of the new businesses that are opening are black women, so we are really leading the charge on all of this, so we have to make sure we keep that going, but we also have to make sure we support each other. And that's another issue we've had as far as women not being supportive of each other. And I think, you know, we can see it in hip-hop just as a prime example. I was looking at Instagram today and I was like, why is all the women beefing with each other? Like, this is absolutely ridiculous because there's so few women who are given that opportunity, and then for some reason we're all in competition with each other instead of saying, oh, why don't we do something together? Why don't we come together? I'm gonna come to your event, I'm gonna post your whatever. Why don't we do that? And I feel like it's not just our problem, but it's society that makes it seem like only one woman can get this one position. And we have to stop thinking like that.
Oh, that's the absolute truth. What brought you into real estate? Because I read your bio and you said you own 3 properties, so on and so forth.
Well, when I was younger, I used to always be concerned when I wasn't making no money, basically, working at Sirius. I was like, what is going to happen to me when it's time for me to retire and I don't have a place to live and I don't own anything? And that was something that really used to weigh on me all the time because my salary was so low. And if you know, New York prices are crazy. Like, if you don't have $1 million, you know, or you can't access that, how are you possibly? I was in debt. I had credit card debt. I was just really like living beyond my means, paying rent, just living check to check, barely making it. And it was something that really used to trouble me. Like, I don't want to be retired or want to retire and still trying to pay rent and not know what I'm going to do. So I was really focused on I have to be able to buy a house. And one thing that I have to do that I know we don't do enough as women statistically is ask for a raise. You know, a lot of times we don't negotiate our salaries the way that we should. We don't ask for raises the way that we should. So I went in and I asked for a raise. I got like I think like a 40% raise and a bonus when I went in and asked for it. But I really went in equipped. Like, I didn't go in saying, I need a raise because I need more money. I need a raise because I deserve a raise. And I went in there equipped with everything, like showing this was at Sirius. And I went in there with all kinds of information, showing just all the press I had gotten, all the things I had accomplished, all the job duties that I was doing that was above and beyond what I was supposed to be doing. I said, I really enjoy being here. I told them if there's other things I could be doing, please let me know. I did that whole spiel and I did end up getting a raise. And that was because I went in there and asked for it. Because a lot of times you're not gonna just get a raise. You know, you really have to go in there equipped and show what it is that you've done. I've spoken to people a lot of times who hate their jobs, and they hate their jobs and they go to work like they hate their jobs. And you can't really do that. If you agree to do something and this is what you're doing, you really have to put your best foot forward. And one thing that I've learned is you never know who's watching, because even working at Sirius, knowing they weren't valuing what I was bringing to the table, there were a lot of people from outside of there watching me. And I had 3 different job offers before I went to Power 105 because people were watching, because you're representing yourself. You know, aside from working at a company, you are representing yourself. So nobody cares if they're not treating me well behind the scenes and they're not paying me what I'm supposed to be paid and I can't stand this person. You really still have to go in and represent for yourself. And if you hate your job that much, instead of complaining about it every day, you better find something else that will make you happier, because you know, after a while, it's like, okay, your friends don't want to hear about it no more, your husband, nobody wants to hear about it anymore. So you really have to be proactive in figuring out what you want to do for your life. So I knew I wanted to buy a house. I knew in order to do that, I had to make more money. I knew it's serious, it wasn't going to happen. So I ended up going and taking this job at Power 105. And at that time, I just made a lot of sacrifices. I was, you know, taking every little side gig I could get. Side hustles have always been my thing. Like my whole life, I've always had side hustles.
Hustling.
And I think that's important. Like even when I first started off in the industry, I went to school for English. So I would write bios for artists. I would put together events, just anything I could do to get some extra cash and extra experience. You know, because those things are great at building relationships. I was into doing just anything I could, and I was to go so hard. And those relationships, like that is the reason why people have always said, you know what, Angela would be great for this. I never even needed a resume because people knew me, they knew my work ethic, they see me do other things. And so people were just like, hey, we would love to come hire you. How can we get you here? And that's when you're able to really negotiate and say, okay, well, I'm doing this here, but you know, let's talk about salary. And so I just knew I had to make more money, and I knew I wanted to buy a house. And it's hard because I like to do things. I like to go out to eat. I like to go on vacation. I like to buy clothes. And
Girl things.
Yeah.
One thing that you said that definitely touched me is when you said you weren't satisfied. A lot of people aren't satisfied and get stuck in that sameness, and they're going to keep doing it, that repeated cycle. You'll get up every single day on time for work, but on the weekends, you're going to get up at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. You're going to get up on time for your boss, but you're going to cheat on your own time for your own self.
right.
Like, how is that? A job, I always say, is a 3-letter acronym. Just over broke, juggling over bills, and jerked out of bed. And you have to have that same tenacity to believe in yourself, because if somebody could pay you $100,000, $50,000, $30,000, how much money are you really worth to that company? How much money are they making off your back? Okay, you get 2 weeks vacation, a bonus, and a couple of bagels during Christmas parties. You're worth so much more than that. And especially in this room, if you click up with 10 people in this room, and 10 people put up $10,000, how much is that?
100,000.
That's just 10 people. How many people in this room today? Give or take. Let's just use a round number, 100 people, right? 100 people putting up $10,000. How much is that?
That's $1 million. That's $1 million.
That's $1 million that we have in this room today.
It's terrible, everybody.
Right. Where's our accountants? That's what we ain't scream out in the beginning. What is $100 times 10,000? 100 people times $10,000. So to let you know that the money is in the room as well. So when you say, oh, the bank is not giving me a loan, trust your neighbor. Men lie, women lie, but numbers and contracts don't. So even though we we he-in, it's important to get lawyered up and to take a chance with other people. But taking a chance and educate a chance. There is $100,000 profit in every house in Newark. You're buying them for $100,000, you're fixing them for another 100, and you're selling them to a New Yorker for $350. I'm just saying. Because New York is saturated. So what's happening? They're moving over here in droves. There's a program called SODA, Special First Time Assistance or something like that, where New York is paying 1 year's worth of rent up front to kick poor people out of New York over to New Jersey. I've taken in 8 families myself because the first time upfront money is really good. But when you're talking about the poor people in New York, you're talking about these are still people that make $50,000 a year. So they're poor for New York, but they're definitely not poor for over here. So New Jersey, let's realize, and not just Newark, Essex County, Hudson, Union, we're 15 minutes outside of the financial heartbeat of the world.
And there's a lot of businesses moving to Newark as well. You know, there's a lot of opportunity here, and I just feel like you guys should be the first ones in on it. And don't miss out on it, and later on you look back and be like, damn, I could could have bought a house.
Right, this Brooklyn and Harlem.
Yeah.
This is the new Brooklyn and new Harlem.
Even for us, I know we both invested in Detroit.
Well, I'm in the process of investing in Detroit right now.
I bought 3 houses in Detroit. And, you know, I knew that there were a lot of things happening in Detroit as I saw them unfolding. As a matter of fact, I bought one house for $1,000. Right, but it needed a lot of work. But it's a big, beautiful house, and I rehabbed the house. It should be done like next week. So, you know, say I spent $80,000 rehabbing the house and I sell it for $250,000. You know, that's a big deal. So, and to even be able to buy a property and hold on to it, and now all I have to do is pay the property tax, and it's all paid for, and I can take my time working on it. I have 2 other houses after this that I want to work on, but the property value there keeps going up and up and up. So you have to pay attention when you see what's happening in a neighborhood and do your research. I was in Vegas for the iHeart Festival that we do every year, and I was watching CNN, and I saw some experts on CNN talking about Detroit and how Detroit's a great investment, and then I went online and I started doing even more research, and I saw the Pistons were moving back downtown, they're building all these new things, and on Twitter, on Instagram, I follow like Curb Detroit, and they have that for every city. I think they have a Curb Newark, so you can follow and see what's happening in the neighborhoods, see what houses are on the market for, see what's selling, see what new developments are coming. Because when you decide you want to do something, the more research you do, the greater chance you have of that being successful.
And you living in New York and back and forth in Jersey, she still went out and made an investment that's outside of her own, like you could say, her site. So real estate investing, money is money. It doesn't matter if you're investing in New Jersey or if you're investing in Alaska. The same systems that you put together is the same system that you could put anywhere. You get your realtor to send you the comps on the property, you negotiate it down, you get your insurance on the property, you get your contractor. So it doesn't matter where you are, because if I own 200 units in New Jersey, I'm not going to be renovating them myself. I'm not going to be evicting the tenants myself. I'm going to have a management company in place. I'm going to have a legal team in place. So it doesn't matter where you're investing. If you keep your systems is important. I know Andre talks about systems a lot. A little while I'd be like, nah, I don't want to do systems because I feel like I can do it myself. But then I started inspiring all you beautiful people, and now, as you know, if you call me, it's really hard to get me on the phone. Send me a text message, but the systems in place allows me to service you guys the way that it needs to be.
Right, because a lot of times we'll say, I can't afford anything here. Well, there's some place you could afford something, even if you have to put together a team of people and say, let's invest in buying a building, you know, in Charlotte, or let's do this here, because this could actually end up, you know, being profitable down the line. And I have to say, like, we do have to stop being so nervous and take some risks sometimes. Because even if things don't work out the way we anticipate, just doing it, the whole process of it is so educational that you learn so much more for the next time. But without taking a risk, nothing's going to happen.
And when she said earlier that a lot of people say, I can't afford it, everyone in here has a minimum of a $500 to $700 cell phone. So it's really, what are you investing in? Everybody got nice shoes, everybody has a nice car, everybody wants to go on vacation. I always talk about starve your wants and feed your needs, so that way you can live the life that you deserve. Stop spending a whole bunch of money on things that's not going to bring you any value. It's not about that you can't afford it, it's you don't want to afford it. A lot of times we are afraid of success. You know, and I was stalling here. I was like, oh man, look at all of these people. What am I going to say to them? Because it's nerve-wracking facing all of you, to making sure I have the right words, but it's my calling right now to make sure that I'm putting the right people in front of us to inspire us. So 2 weeks from now, when you're down and you're in the mirror, you're like, oh, I have a pimple. Think about the Monday. You're like, you know what, Ben and Angela Yee was up here and inspired us. And even when this lovely young lady is not here, the consistency of this Real Estate Monday is going to be here. I'm going to be here. Even when I can't be here physically, I pop up on the screen and let somebody else take my place, because this is Real Estate and Entrepreneurs Haven. That's why I don't charge. It might be a little hot, so I might need help with the AC. But overall, this is our family. This is our house. Everybody knows how much drama the city gave me when I opened up La Rouge, because I was the only spot that was allowing hip-hop. And they tried to shut me down. And I said, you know what? While you guys are ostracizing the youth, I'm the only one that's allowing them to let out their expression. Can we say La Rouge? Yeah, we on the map. We on the map. When they counted us out, we still here. You know, when they talk about, you know, Newark isn't doing anything, they ain't taking account to these real estate meetup Mondays. What message can you give these ladies?
I do want to say that I didn't grow up with my parents educating me on a lot of things. You know, they had one house in Brooklyn that my grandfather gave to my mom, and then they sold that house and moved to Jersey because we were going to move to another part of Brooklyn. And the people they were buying the house from were like, oh my God, you have to see South Orange. That's where we're moving. So that's how they ended up moving here, and they've lived in that same house ever since and not made any investments in anything. And so I do feel like sometimes we feel like, well, I wasn't raised that way, I don't understand anything, and it was a lot of me having to teach myself things. But there's so much access to information now and so many programs available that if you do the research, you can make anything happen. Even when I bought my house, you know, we can see what happens when neighborhoods are changing. And my parents were like, why do you want to live in Bed-Stuy? We moved out of Brooklyn, you know, for that reason. And they didn't understand how much, like, my house is worth almost about $400,000 more than what I paid for it already. And it's been 4 years. And so, you know, things like that, it was a great investment. I did my research and I was familiar with the neighborhood. But sometimes people from the outside don't understand it. My parents couldn't understand those things. So I don't want us to ever feel like we are, I don't ever want us to not feel like we can make it happen. You know, just because we weren't raised a certain way or our parents didn't do it, or, oh my God, we don't have any money for that. It's definitely, if I can do it, it's definitely possible for anybody in this room to make it happen. And if you are feeling too comfortable in where you are at in life, then it's time for you to get uncomfortable and do some things to take you out of your zone.
So let's talk about some buying, fixing, and flipping. Right now, I'm currently renovating 4 properties. If anybody's interested, and a lot of people have taken me up on this offer as far as doing the walkthroughs to understand the process. Again, I don't charge. That may change just because a lot more people are going to be coming, so we're going to have to rent buses. But I'm showing you guys what it is that you're going to get into. You can read all of the books you want, look at all the YouTube channels you want, but there's nothing like going live. In this room, I'm looking at my investors, I'm looking at my first-time home buyers who just wrote a book, I'm looking at my insurance agents, I'm looking at people who have money allocated that's ready to invest. If anybody's looking to sell a house, bring it to us, we're buying. If anybody is looking to partner up on a house, let us know. If anybody, I just recently partnered up with 2 hard money lenders. If anybody's looking for funding, now I'm able to give loans. I also recently partnered up with a real estate brokerage, so I can give higher broker percentages than, you know, the Remaxes, the Weikerts. And on top of that, our leads are homegrown and is generated. Our leads are homegrown and is generated. It's not mailers. I know who these people are. You're going to get to know who they are. It's all about, are we going to take advantage of coming to these rooms? A lot of times, we are filled on the energy. Oh, I came to a meetup. I've done enough for the week. As soon as you leave this meetup, you need to say, okay, well, I need to contact the Alpha team to see how we're going to do it. This young lady has a platform. I can't even put a number on it. You definitely probably got over 50 million listeners and viewers between YouTube, the live. So this is somebody who has access to everybody around the world that's sitting right in front of you. So I want to thank you for that, for creating that opportunity for us to show us that it can be done, especially through your trials and your tribulations that you spoke about. You know, this is a beacon of hope for us, especially for the ladies. So I definitely want to give you a round of applause for that as well.